Hey everyone, in this video I'll be showing you a Pure 12 build for the Way of the Four Elements monk in Baldur's Gate 3. If you want to play like Goku or Aang, this is the subclass for you. Now, it is a little bit weaker than some of the others out there, however, it's still a lot of fun with all the options that you get in combat. I'll be taking you through the full build in this video. Now, starting off here at level 1, one thing that we gotta be paying attention to is our stats, because we do use wisdom for our spellcasting. This makes it tough because the monk likes to have strength, dex, constitution, and wisdom, so 4 stats, multi-attribute dependent. The way that we can get by this is strength potions. However, there's also another really easy way in Act 1 using the Club of Hill Giant Strength, which lets you put it in the offhand and get a 14 or 19 to your strength without having to have the investment in our strength. This is one of the best options and ways to do it. So I'd recommend rolling with a high dexterity because this is important for our armor class and our initiative so that we can go first in combat. There's also, you can buy 3 strength potions from Auntie Ethel the first time that you see her, but we don't fully need strength for this build. I think that this stat spread gets by perfectly if you don't want to use the potion route. And we'll put the last points into our intelligence there to round it all out. Our skill proficiencies, insight's kind of nice to have, as well as acrobatics. If you end up getting shoved, you're going to be much happier, because getting shoved off of a ledge really sucks. Now, once we get to level 2 here, we get our bonus actions, Step of the Wind, Disengage, Dash, and Patient Defense. There are some items in the game that can proc off of that, which is nice to have, but we're gonna go here with the Way of the Four Elements. This gives us our deflect missiles here. It's a monk class ability, and you can throw back missiles as well, which is pretty fun. But the big thing here is our Harmony of Water and Fire. When we're not in combat, we can get half our key points back. That's pretty nice to have. Also, this is the only class in the game that can create a block of ice. We can also create a water whip here and knock targets prone. These are fun, honestly. I think they're pretty fun. There's also like the Fist of Unbroken Air, which knocks back creatures. I'm a big fan of this one. This has a 2 key point cost. I think that we do want to use Fangs of the Fire Snake pretty often. I also released the monk subclass mod called the Way of the Pizza Chef Monk. So if you like the Fangs of the Fire Snake but want the class like this to be a lot stronger, check out the Way of the Pizza Chef. You can use this with our pizza weapon. It's a lot of fun, but this is really a powerful option because it's an attack roll and we can use extra attack with it. Unlike the other ones here, you don't really want to use any of the others, to be honest. We can go with Water Whip, Fangs of the Fire Snake, and Fist of the Unbroken Air. This fills us out pretty nice. You could use Shaping of the Ice. You basically create it's like a crate. It has 25 health. You can climb up on top of it. And unlike some other spells, you can continually keep calling them in. So it's funny, but not really that good. Level 4, Slow Fall, cool. We get also our first feat. Now, this is where we can go a few different ways. The strongest feat in the game is Tavern Brawler. This does require us to have our strength, so you would have to use the Club of Hill Giant Strength in your offhand or a strength potion, but basically it'll double the strength modifier and add it to our damage and attack rolls, which is a massive boost for our DPS. You don't have to go this route though. You can go with an ability score improvement, take up our wisdom or our dexterity there for better like spell casting, or dexterity for better attack rolls. I also like the alert feat for the +5 to initiative. And another thing too is if you're gonna go with the Tavern Brawler, I guess I could have had the Constitution at 15 there, take the points out of intelligence and put this up, because then we could put this up +1. Tavern Brawler ends up being the best, but you could go with those 2 other options if you don't want to use any of the strength-based gear. It's just, when we're talking monk, we have to talk about that just due to how powerful it is. It's like an anomaly. It's not that way in D&D, but in Baldur's Gate 3 it is, so just the way that things fell. Level 5 gives us our extra attack though, which is obviously a power spike, but Stunning Strike. This is really important because we want to get our spell save up so that we can have this land. If you stun the target, they're taken out of combat for the turn. This is something we want to be using as much as possible, and probably a better option than some of our key point related abilities from the Four Elements Monk. But since we're playing this, we obviously want to use those, otherwise you just play an open hand monk. I do have a build on that if you'd like. Also, key empowered strikes here. This basically makes it so we can overcome any of the resistances the enemy may have. We also get an expanded list of spells that we can learn. So we get Embrace of the Inferno, which costs 3 key points, ouch, and it does 2d6 of fire damage times 3. Not sure why it's listed like that, but and whereas Scorching Ray would show the 3 there, but it's the same amount. I'll have to look in the toolkit and see what's going on there, but it should show a higher damage number. Cleanse of the North Wind, though, is kind of our best option. This will scale up a little bit later, so we can hold target on 2 people. This is really good because if we can get a target held in place, we get criticals against them, and that turns our damage pretty high. Level 7 gives us Stillness of Mind. If we're charmed or frightened, we can cast that and get away from it. And Evasion. So level 7, we take half less damage from all spells that require a dex save. And if you succeed on a save against something like Fireball, we won't take damage, whereas others would take half. Level 8 gives us our second feat. I think a wisdom improvement or a alert for the +5 to initiative is a good choice, or the wisdom improvement's kind of what came out first there. And +2 to wisdom's nice for better spell casting. It also can impact some of our other abilities there. Wisdom's a good one to prevent targets from hitting you with like wisdom-based spells like command and hold person as well, but you could also go with an ability score improvement to take up your wisdom or dex. Level 9 gives us unarmed movement increased to 6 meters now, and we got the improved elemental casting. So our affinity with the elemental key deepens. Several of our 4 elements features will do an additional die of damage, so your cantrips are now more powerful. And our Clench of the North Wind, which you took, has now the ability to do 2 targets, making it the best choice still, kind of. And Embrace the Inferno will do an additional ray, which we could take if we wanted to. So it does 4 rays now, even though this tooltip does just say 3 rays. Now, I think that Shaping of the Isis Fungus is a unique ability. We don't need Rush of the Gale Spirits because we already got the punch of the pushback punch, so we could use that. Honestly, all these spells are kind of terrible. Using Chill and Mountain, this is a cantrip. You could literally play a high elf and get it. Like, yeah, it's just ice block. We'll take it. Scourging Ray is not even that good. Her punches will do better damage in the end without burning through our key points that quickly. Purity Body means that we cannot get poisoned. Woohoo! Level 11 here gives us another key point, and we can take another choice of things like Flames of the Phoenix. This is a spell that spellcasters get at level 5. We get a level 11. Woohoo! And it costs 4 key points, which if you convert that to spell slots in this economy, what the heck? It costs a lot. I also want to make a mention, there's a lot of mods that change the way the 4 elements monk to make it in line with some of the other monk subclasses, because it ain't that great. But we're going to take Fireball for the hell of it. Ride the Wind is another fun one if you want to be able to fly around. It does use 4 key points, same as Mistance. Those all just suck, so we're not going to take them. Fireball, it's an option. And then level 12, we just get another feat choice, which you go with the dex increase, a wisdom increase, or you could go with something like tough for additional health hit points, or lucky, get 3 luck points. I really like the lucky feat. You probably would too if you used it. It's amazing. We could also go with a dexterity increase or a wisdom here. It's your choice at this point what you want to increase. I think that the dexterity increase gives us a little bit more advantages. And this is also the Simple Monk Set mod made by Baitor. And for our equipment, so there's some really good pieces here. Obviously, once we get to the late game, the Vest of Soul Rejuvenation is going to be our best in slot because it gives us a reaction attack like a riposte, which lets us attack against an attacker that misses. This is really nice because it's just another way for us to weaponize our reaction, so we're going to take this. In the early game, you can go with the Cat's Grace, which you can get from Esther on the Rosy Marn Trail. That's a really good choice because it's going to give you the extra dexterity, which is great for survivability. You could even roll with, what's funny is the Protecty Sparks Wall if you really want to use the staff, and then use lightning charges and get yourself that +1 AC there in the early game. And until then, clothing's going to be your best choice. Vest of Soul Rejuvenation is our best in slot. The Gloves of Soul Catching, best in slot. Again, there's so many gloves that'll give us additional damage. So take whichever one of these you're able to find, and no real preference until you get to late game with the Gloves of Soul Catching. The fire-based one's probably the better choice because it does come with Scorching Ray, but Gloves of Soul Catching does force damage and it can heal you, +2 to Constitution. It's the best. We also have the Boots of Uninhibited Kashigo here, which will give you additional damage equal to your Wisdom modifier, which is great. You could also use the Disintegrating Nightwalkers for the Misty Step, or even the Evasive Shoes for the +1 to AC. I also got the Cloak of Protection here, your personal preference. There's not many cloaks in this game. And Horns the Berserker, +2 to attack rolls when attacking creatures that have already taken damage, but it's the 2 additional necrotic damage whenever we attack targets. Pretty great stuff. I also like the Shadow Cloaked Ring, which will give a 1d4 extra damage, and it counts on unarmed strikes against lightly or heavily obscured targets. And then we also got the Killer Sweetheart for a free crit, because we do big damage numbers. I also have the Amulet of Greater Health on here, but there is the Sentient Amulet, which has the key Restoration here, so you could use that if you went through the quest. We also got the Hellrider Longbow for that +3 to initiative. We're not going to use it other than just getting that initiative boost. There's also the Dark Fire Bow for fire and cold resistance. You know, the stance they take in combat is always really funny here. So what we want to be starting off with is we got attacks here with Fangs with Fire Snake. And what's great about that again is that we can do this from range and it's going to take our unarmed damage strikes. So pretty effective. Fireball, when in doubt, fireball it out. It's not our best choice for damage, but it's there. You know what, I'm gonna do it because monks don't use fireball often, so yeah, we can hit 4 targets here, we may as well. I like the animations for it as well, so yeah, we took out the one target that we definitely wanted to take out, and then we can finish off the rest of them with our Fangs of the Fire Snake. I really like the animations for that, so you fire away with that, boom, and that was enough to take them out, perfect. The fact that it's got range is so nice too, so this can sometimes help you hit targets that you normally would not be able to hit, and boom! The thing is, the Fist of the Unbroken Air, this does it's not an unarmed strike, it does a 40-10 of damage. So that is a little unfortunate, you can't get the extra attacks off with it. So I wouldn't recommend using that at all, unless you really want to push back. We do got that bonus action, Flurry of Blows, that does so much damage though. And typically with these builds, it's best to add in if you were to add in the Rogue Thief for the extra bonus action, because that adds up a lot of extra damage when you're doing up to 82 damage per punch. So yeah, not a bad first turn. I couldn't reach the targets there, unfortunately, I got mine broken. Now, as much as I love the Fist of the Unbroken Air, it looks so cool. The problem is when you use this, it eats up your entire action, so not really worth taking. Fangs of the Fire Snake, however, is a good choice. You can use this really whenever you want because it's going to do quite a bit of damage. I like Flurry of Blows too. Flurry of Blows is our best option here, so you can use that because it's going to likely take out most targets whenever you use it there. And then you can follow up with the Flames of the Fire Snake here as a longer range attack. And then we have one more target here that I cannot touch. Another thing with Fangs of the Fire Snake is it adds additional 1d4 of fire damage onto your next attack, which is amazing. I'm gonna try. Yeah, we got it, nice. That was perfect. So long range attacks, that's the best thing about this. I really like the Fangs of the Fire Snake ability here. You're basically gonna be spamming this quite frequently, using your other points sparingly. You can create those ice blocks whenever you want, which is really funny because yeah, it's a big old block of ice that you can just spawn in at any point, and then you can go ahead here and I guess I just cast it on top of it there, yeah. So yeah, you can do some pretty silly stuff here by just climbing on top of your ice blocks. It will sometimes cause your game to save, you just saw there, but yeah, I encourage you to get silly with it. I guess that's kind of the whole point of the ice cubes. There's not really much, you can block doorways with it, that's about it. They have 25 health, but yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit the subscribe button below if you enjoyed, and we'll catch you in the next one.